Patrick Mahomes. Which movie does he play in?
He's an NFL player.
What? NFL.
Quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs. Never heard of him. Absolutely never heard of him. Is that weird? Have you heard of him?
I've heard of him, yeah, but I don't know much about him.
Suited and booted. He likes his suits. Likes his... Oh! Yeah, that's porn. That's a strong start. Like, this watch is insane. The rainbow Rolex Daytona. People don't really realize how rare this watch actually is because so many famous people actually have this watch. It looks like it's broadly available. But let me tell you, it's not broadly available, and I've only seen 3 in my lifetime. Ever. Insane start. The value of the rose gold rainbow Rolex Daytona, reference number 116595 RBOW, sits between $550,000 and $600,000. It's exactly the same watch, but with a few stones and different color because it's yellow gold and it's rose gold. Patrick Mahomes. This ring, is this what they win? That ring, that big thing. That's bigger than my knob. This is the Rolex GMT-126710 BLNR Bleu Noir. Patrick Mahomes is wearing my least favorite GMT on the planet. I don't really like the combination of blue and black on the Jubilee bracelet. This exact version comes on the Oyster bracelet, which we call Batman. But because we consider the Jubilee bracelet on this watch a little bit feminine, we call this watch the Batgirl. And therefore, that destroys the entire value of the watch. And that is wrong. And therefore, we should all change the name to Bruce Wayne right now. The Rolex GMT was first introduced in 1950. It was a watch that was solely made for pilots working for Pan Am. In 1953, the watch finally hit the public and everyone was able to buy a Rolex GMT-Master. A watch which allows you to see multiple time zones in one glance, which was handy for pilots which flew intercontinental, you know, from one place to the other. And there's a different time there and a different time there. And then you could see the 2 times. It's very handy. It's handy for me because I can then look and see if I do business somewhere. You see what I mean? It's handy. When the Rolex GMT first hit the market, it was introduced in a bi-color bezel, red and blue. We call this Pepsi, but it was actually the colors of Pan Am. In later years, Rolex introduced this watch with a black bezel, but also in a bezel that we call the Coke with red and black. Personally, the Coke was my least favorite ever GMT. In 2013, Rolex introduced the watch that we now know today as the Batman. Reference number 116710 BLNR. The watch was an instant success and had a waiting list from the day it was introduced. The watch that Patrick Mahomes is wearing here, the Bruce Wayne, the Batgirl, the whatever the which is worth between $19,000 and $20,000. Basically, we need to retitle this video, Watch Expert Reviews Rolex Collection. There's no Does he only have Rolexes? I actually think he's wearing the same watch that I'm wearing. On the back I see MVP Patrick Mahomes, and only MVPs wear the green dial Daytona. I actually think he's wearing the Rolex Daytona reference number 116508. A solid yellow gold with a green dial. I mean, he's special, he's MVP. So you wear the most special yellow gold Daytona. The green dial Daytona was an absolute sleeper when it was first introduced in 2016. Because in 2016, Rolex introduced the new ceramic bezel Daytona. The reference number 116500LN, the new Daytona with the black and the white dial. But because of this big launch and this big introduction, people didn't look any further what else Rolex was doing. Rolex introduced 2 watches, the 116509, the white gold blue dial, and the Rolex 116508, the yellow gold green dial. Basically, John Mayer made this watch so ridiculously valuable. In Talking Watches 2,
I just went, how does nobody notice this? I bought this from a dealer and he sent it to me and he said, well, you're pretty crazy because I just found out that we can't get another one of these for a really long time and people kind of want it. And I went, yeah, I know.
John, when are we gonna make a video together? Because my comment section is every video, make a video about John Mayer. And I said, I only wanna make a John Mayer video with John himself. At a certain point, this watch went for $120,000 because people were spreading rumors that this dial would be discontinued. But guess what?
What?
It probably will, because this dial is now in production for 5 years. And you know what the 5 means?
I don't.
It means nothing, but it's not the point.
Do you think it's going to be discontinued?
At a certain point in life, yes.
So get them now.
Get them now! By the way, guys, you know what else you can get now? London Watch Show is back and you can get tickets for it right now. First link in the description. I am going to be there. The entire team is going to be there. Everyone is going to be there. It's going to be carnage. It's going to be mayhem. London Watch Show. Get your tickets now. 18th, 19th, and the 20th of March. If this is the green dial Rolex Daytona, reference number 116508, this watch will be worth between $80,000 and $85,000. That's not bad. That's good. Mwah. Thank you.
So you're living in Kansas City now. Do you love Kansas City?
I love it. I honestly do.
Where is Kansas City?
You ever heard of Kansas?
Yeah, no.
You have.
No, what the f do I
We're
know?
not in Kansas anymore.
I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
In Wizard of Oz?
No, I've never
well,
watched Wizard
I
of
was
Oz.
going to give you some knowledge here, but...
Yeah, go on.
So Kansas is a state. You would assume Kansas City is in Kansas, right?
Yeah.
So for some reason, Kansas City is not in Kansas. Kansas City is actually in Missouri, which is right beside Kansas.
Missouri.
Isn't that weird?
All right, let's go to the video.
I mean, look, we got the Chiefs fan, Chiefs Kingdom right here.
Yeah, we got the guys. One of these guys came out.
Not my favorite watch of all time. What you see here is the Rolex Yacht-Master II, reference number 116680. A watch that was first introduced in 2007. You know how you call this chronograph?
What?
You call this the regatta timer. And you know why we call this the regatta timer? Boat racing, regatta racing. 10-minute counter. This is a 10-minute chronograph, which on its own is a very nice complication. The only thing is the watch looks like it's been hit by a truck, hit by a boat, dropped from an airplane into the water, and then being dived up by a shark, being eaten by a unicorn, then being shit out by the unicorn to then be picked up by a bear, and then left in the Rolex boutique. That's how this watch looks like. I don't really want to talk about this much longer because the watch, it's actually horrible. This is Rolex Yacht-Master 116680, which is worth between $20,000 and $22,000. Another Yacht-Master. He loves his Yacht-Master, but this one is actually quite nice. First introduced in 2015, the Rolex Yacht-Master on the Oyster Flex. And I must say, I really like the Yacht-Master and the Oyster Flex, but not with this dial. This is the Pavé dial, and it's a more expensive dial, which is completely factory set. Don't get me wrong. That's incredible. I just don't like the design of the watch itself. I'd rather have it with the plain black dial. I have nothing valuable to say about this watch other than the price, but let me tell you, this Rolex Yacht-Master is worth between $40,000 and $45,000. And that's the only valuable thing I have to say. Other than that, it's a bit of a boring watch. I'm a bit underwhelmed. Patrick Mahomes is like the dog's bollocks and I only see f***ing Rolexes and shit. No, from all the watches in the world I expected, it's not this one. He loves his GMTs. It's not a pretty watch, right? 43mm Aquaterra Omega Seamaster GMT in red gold or rose gold. The value of that watch is between $18,000 and $19,000. I wouldn't have spent a penny on that watch, but that would be me. My task in this world is making the watch world a better place by educating people about watches and making people enthusiastic about watches. Although we live in a flex culture, it's not about flexing. You need to understand the importance, the history, etc. Other than the Rainbow Daytona, it's just all the same. It's like, Patrick, I want to educate you, right? I want to teach you watches. You know what I really want to see? A superstar of a person with a François Pajouin. Like, I want to see something unbelievable. I would value this collection at 5. Here, just another point, right? Another athlete that doesn't flex Hublot. No one in the right mind buys a Hublot. Patrick is a good lad. Seems like a good lad to go on for a sesh. Get your London Watch Show tickets now. First link in the description.